the American Legislative Exchange Council. These are the guys that create the model legislation. They all get together at a conference. Corporations get a chance to sit with legislators on the state and federal level and say, hey, this is exactly the kind of legislation we'd love to see. And so they get that introduced in states around the country. They've already gotten this Environmental Literacy Improvement Act passed in Texas and Louisiana and Tennessee. Now they're trying to get it passed in Arizona, Colorado, and Oklahoma. And, you know, not only is it trying to teach essentially what is religion in science class, they're trying to teach intelligent design. They're trying to find ways to minimize or undermine the teaching of evolution and the teaching of climate science, which also has long-term implications, you know, for the employment prospects of these children that they're teaching these, you know, incorrect concepts. You know, there is now no doubt evolution is established. There is some uncertainty in climate science, but there is no doubt the global scientific community is pretty much united that this is happening. And the fact that they're trying to undermine the science curriculum in these public schools is pretty dangerous, because these kids later on, when they go to apply to colleges, when they go to apply to, you know, engineering or math or science, hey, I don't know, it would help if they actually knew the kinds of things that are going to actually help them get through to their degrees in college. You know, big oil, coal, it's incredible how powerful they are and how much of an impact that they're having, not only on our environment, but on our politicians. You know, 9 Democrats in our Senate just recently wrote a letter, and by the way, it was 9 Democrats, but in total it was 53 U.S. senators that wrote a letter to Obama urging him to sign the permit for the construction of the Keystone Pipeline. Right? And the reason why that's happening is because they're pouring a tremendous amount of money into these politicians' campaigns. They're funding them. Their pockets are fat with, you know, big oil money. So I feel like we're constantly fighting this uphill battle. They're indoctrinating our students. Okay, we did a story just earlier this week about how a new law in Texas allows educators to teach the Bible in class. And they're not doing so in an objective way. They're indoctrinating the students by telling them, you know, this is right, you should follow this, you're gonna go to hell if you don't. And now you have ALEC pushing these laws that basically deny, you know, what conventional wisdom is among scientists when it comes to climate change. Yeah, and it has, you know, like I said, dangerous long-term implications, because, you know, what we need now, we already know that we are running short the future of engineering and math and science and technology. You know, that enrollment is down at the college level in these really important areas of study, and coming up when we are moving into an area where we need to increase our clean energy, our renewable energy, our technology, our innovation, that to have this undermining of actual science education for people who are essentially just still fighting the culture wars. It has very long-term implications for our ability to compete globally when we're not going to have people who actually understand science and technology and engineering. So this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm curious to see what you think. There was a new report released about how China burns more coal than the rest of the world combined. So when it comes to the question of climate change, how do you tackle such an international problem? Because sure, we can definitely change our behavior here in the United States. We could hold oil companies accountable. We could come up with renewable energy. But how do you convince other countries like China to do that? Well, you know, it's a really difficult situation that we're in, because we have not tried at all as the United States to lead the world on this critical issue that is looming and is actually already starting to happen. You know, the way that you do it is you go first. You know, the United States, who's gone first in all innovation, and almost all innovation, I should say, having, say, for example, John Kerry now be our Secretary of State, he's a noted climate hawk. He's actually gotten up in front on the Senate floor and said many, many times that we need to take action on climate change. So perhaps with his leadership in the international community, that can help move other countries forward. But China and India are not going to stop their growth if we don't do something as the United States, the world's biggest polluter, as well. You know, China has surpassed us on a total carbon dioxide pollution factor, but as far as individuals, we have the highest per capita emissions. And to have this be something where we have to try to convince other countries that, yeah, we're going to do it, we're going to get around to that soon, while they're trying to actually lift their citizens out of poverty. You know, China has 1 billion people, and there are 1 billion people around the world who don't even have electricity right now. So requiring them to curb their own economic growth while we sit and do nothing and actually have fights over whether or not it's actually happening in the first place, even though everybody else, agrees that it is, we put ourselves into a really difficult position.